r/AskReddit, what is something you wish your school would have taught in sex ed? Make a much bigger deal about the fact the pull-out method is bullshit. Well babe, since the pull-out method is bullshit and I'm already inside you, I might as well just not pull out, right? Consent. I'm reasonably sure all we learned was how to put a condom on. Thankfully I was taught consent and STDs and pregnancy in high school. That wanting to have sex and enjoying it is okay and normal. Especially for women. In the early 2000s we got toughed, boys want it all the time, women only sometimes. But there is also the opposite, but never ever will anyone talk about this. And this drives me crazy. Don't use shampoo as lube. Or, as one of my former students did, use a grocery bag as a condom. My sex ed teacher taught the girls all men were rapists and that all we wanted was to rape and kill. What the actual fuck? Sex ed? We only learned that if you have sex, you'll catch a disease and your dick will fall off. Any actual education was banned. That's what we were taught as boys too, TBF. We are all disgusting rape murderers who will go to jail and society is our fault because we, the 7th graders, made it that way. I think masturbating should have / be discussed. I wish the class was separated by sex as well. A lot of my peers were too busy making jokes and being embarrassed than to actually pay attention. Separating by genders isn't that effective, most of the ones that are too embarrassed to pay attention will still make jokes, and most likely the sex ed will be split into male sex ed and female sex ed. And as your point said, talking about health habits on masturbation is good for everyone to know how masturbation works and as so on the opposite genitalia. How to identify abusers and how they act. I cannot believe this isn't a thing already. Sperm can survive up to 5 days. So you need to make sure you have an entire week where you won't be ovulating to safely have sex without risk of pregnancy. Wait, is this true? I wish the teacher didn't say that erections can last a whole day. Experience took care of that fear. I just mentioned this one to my missus. Wanna guess what she said? A lot. All sex ed does is tell you to use condoms. Agreed. They didn't even go over those costs of having kids, all the contraceptives, and their effectiveness. Things that are normal vs not. Basic hygiene, etc. It is like that scene from Mean Girls. Same thing happened to me but with pure gluten. Lesbians. If the straight part of sex ed is already lacking, the queer part is completely alien. Yep, back then I remember raising my hand and asking the teacher how to avoid STDs if you're having lesbian sex, and she just didn't know and moved on to another question. Alrighty then. Our class talked or at least mentioned the existence of sexuality. I wish they talked about it more and gender identity, but I am not sure what they would said 30 years ago that would have been helpful. Anything. We didn't even have a sex ed class, didn't even teach human anatomy in biology. Went to uni and got told by my girlfriend, now wife, that women do not, in fact, have prostates. That anything but enthusiastic consent is no consent. How important an HPV vaccination is for both sexes. I got lucky and found out about my beginning cervical cancer when I got a hysterectomy for different medical reasons. That I won't ever need this knowledge. That some very common medications make your birth control pills ineffective. Conflict resolution, or avoiding conflict, how to deal with emotional attachment, infidelity, angry former partners, etc. Does that qualify under sexual education? What you are describing is a whole other subject. How insanely common and underdiscussed miscarriages are. Finding that out while comforting my heartbroken wife was enough to make me want to write a very angry letter to my sex ed teachers in the past. Information that would have been very useful at the time. I agree. The focus was on the biology of reproduction and STDs but nothing on the social/personal interactions that can be involved. There is a risk of pregnancy from precum, pre-ejaculate. While the chances are lower compared to ejaculate, precum can contain sperm, so it's still possible for a girl to get pregnant if there is unprotected sexual contact. If pregnancy prevention is a concern, it's advisable to use contraception or practice safe sex. That the porn you will undoubtedly see is not a realistic representation of what a healthy, normal, or average sexual encounter or liaison will be. That's it's okay to fumble, fart by accident, feel tired, lose an erection, the woman may not always orgasm, she may be tried, sore. Women don't often want to get their freak on when they're on their period, so don't pressure them. Men aren't always up for sex every minute that they're awake. Anal is a normal exploration of sexuality, bisexuality is normal, self-respect, basically everything they didn't teach us. That you need time to get to action. Years of porn education showed me that you can get to the penetration part once you get naked. With good communication with your partner you don't need much time to learn though. But still, gave much anxiety and stress the first times. The value and use of lubricants. Also that oil-based lubes can weaken and even break condoms. Removed. I am so sorry, may I recommend a YouTube channel called, Mama Dr. Jones. She is an OBGYN. She reacts to sex ed videos and debunks sex-related myths. I've learned more from her than I ever did in sex ed. My mother was very good about teaching me, though. Also experiencing this in Indonesia, it's in the curriculum but some teachers refuse to do so, they simply skip the topic. Not so much being taught about it, rather having someone who actually knows what they are talking about and not some random history teacher who just says sex leads to HIV. Yes. And how much it sucks as a dad, too. We don't have the physical concerns, but damn does it hurt. I got my hopes real high and then the rug was pulled out. Somehow, the second time it was worse than the first. What is consensual sex? Sex is not only for producing children. Queerness. Porn does not represent real sex and can really destroy your relationship to sex. Actually teaching me sex ed, they never did that. Apparently it can go in at another angle and hit your bladder and really make you feel the need to pee. I wish they actually taught it at all, to be honest. I got sex ed from a literal nun. When filling out the anonymous questionnaire when asked what person would you most like to teach you about sex, I relied literally anyone who had had sex. I ended up in front of the headmaster for that. Younger children should be taught to know when they're being abused and who to tell if they are. Oh. And also, adults speaking against this should have their entire lives put under a microscope by anti-pedophile law enforcement. At least 10% of the male population have pearly penile papules, which are little wart-like spots around the head of your dick. They're completely harmless and normal. Would have saved me a lot of stress when I was young knowing this. Link. That a guy's responsible for wearing a condom and girls take razors to areas guys wouldn't dare to, basically saying male hygiene isn't as important as a hairless vagina. Well, joke's on you, I shave my man area because I hate hair and making it more presentable than an afro bush when you want a girl to give you head. How to react when your GF says she had a dream that you cheated on her. Damn babe, you really think I'm amazing enough to pull a movie star? I'm flattered but mildly concerned at your delusion. I wish I wasn't homeschooled for sex ed. It was pretty much a game of Pictionary with my mom hand drawing pictures of sex organs. I was homeschooled too, and while it wasn't hand drawn sex organs, we got the whole anatomical breakdown of what happens, and when we did physical sciences / human body / anatomy, we had to draw detailed outlines for the entire body, including all the sex organs, and attempt to color code the fats, cells, etc. I'm all for thoroughness, but sometimes there's such a thing as TMI, mom. Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to humbly ask you to subscribe to the channel. According to my statistics, 100% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. I have always wanted this channel to reach 1000 subscribers, and if you want to support and be a part of that, subscribe. It's free and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Thanks again. Reddit glitch out.